Welcome back then guys to this live stream. It is now time for the feature race for IFMC GP2. Thank you for joining us back after that 2 and a bit hour break. And if you didn't see what happened in qualifying yesterday for IFMC GP2, initially we thought Gasly was going to get it, but towards the end of the session it was Felix Rosenqvist who managed to grab pole by 2 cents of a second ahead of hometown favourite Pierre Gasly. Gasly looking to try and get a jump on him at the start if he can, as into the first corner, of course. We've got 43 laps of action for this feature race. Lando Norris being in third, he's in the top 3. And so it'll be very interesting to see the gap now between Rosenqvist and Russell as a result of Rosenqvist taking pole is now down to just 1 point. So that's how it looks between the two Red Bull Academy guys. So before we start then, let's mute this, turn this up a little, and let's have a look at the grid for the feature race here at Magny-Cours. Here we go then, so on pole position, it is Felix Rosenqvist with Pierre Gasly in second. Lando Norris lines up in third with George Russell in 4th position. Norman Nato starts in 5th with Sergey Sirotkin in 6th position. Nobuharu Matsushita starts 7th with Luca Ghiotto in the other EMR in 8th. Santiago Urishia starts in 9th with Mitch Evans in 10th position. 11th goes to Nyck de Vries in the GOM Junior. Alex Lynn will start in 12th. 13th goes to Lance Stroll in the other GOM Junior. Sean Goliath starts 14th in the Holy Trinity Racing car. 15th goes to the new boy Sérgio Sette Câmara in the Ecademy. Louis Razia starts 16th. Joel Eriksson starts 17th. Jolyon Palmer in 18th position in the second of the two struggling Willows Grand Prix cars. Then it's Sasha Fenestraz 19th, Dan Tichter in 20th. And on the back row of the grid it's Yuri Vips, and due to his qualifying ban, Luca is 22nd and last. And that is the grid for the feature race here at Magny-Cours. So there is the grid then guys for the feature race, and the weather, let's have a look. It is bright and sunny, no chance of rain. We haven't had rain all weekend, we thought we could have had some, but there isn't. So leave your predictions, but without further ado, let's get to the feature race. So, here we are then on the grid. Rosenqvist on the left, Gasly on the right. Who's going to get the lead into turn 1 as we wait for the 5 red lights to go off to signify the start of the feature race here at Magny-Cours. 1 light is on, 2 lights are on, 3 lights are on, 4 lights are on, 5 lights are on. And it is going for the feature race here at Magny-Cours. It's a good start from Rosenqvist. He seems to get a better start than what Gasly does. Russell's had a good start. He's jumping Norris down into turn 1. Is everybody going to get through okay? As they go around turn 1, everybody keeping it clean at this stage. As they all go around turn 3 now then. Coming out of turn 3, it's Rosenqvist who leads, but Gasly right on the prowl of him as is Russell. Gasly looking to the inside of Felix Rosenqvist as they come down the back straight. Isn't able to make the move as they come down to the hairpin for the first time. Gasly now looking to the inside of Rosenqvist. Will he grab the lead from the Swede down into the hairpin? And yes, he can. Gasly leads in front of his own fans. Here in the feature race, and Russell takes second as well, taking advantage of Russell's poor traction. Rosenqvist's poor traction and gets up into second place as everybody got through the hairpin. Okay, now then, let's see. Everybody seems to get through okay at the moment. Fenestraz bringing the rear of the field, but it's Gasly who leads the way. Russell in second place at the moment. Rosenqvist in third. Sirotkin's had a good start. He's up to 4th place. Nato 5th. Norris 6th. Ghiotto 7th. And Matsushita rounding out the points positions as they all go down towards the chicane. Gasly's got a bit of a lead in front of Russell, but Russell trying to close into him if he can now then as I go around the right-hander for the first time today. And already approaching the last chicane on the track. So down towards this last chicane we go now, then flicking the car to the right, then the left, and then up towards the final corner we go now then as they head down the pit straight. And so at the end of lap 1 of 43 then here at Magny-Cours, it is Gasly who leads, Russell in second, Rosenqvist in third, Sirotkin 4th, with Nato in 5th, Norris in 6th, Ghiotto 7th, Matsushita rounding out the top 8 as they go around turn 1. As you can see, Sirotkin looking quite racy behind Rosenqvist now then as they come out of turn 3. Sirotkin looking to try to get the podium place of title contender Rosenqvist as they come down the back straight. Will Sirotkin get the move done? He looks to the inside onto the back straight. Rosenqvist shuts the door, but can he try and get back in the slipstream of him into the hairpin now then? Sirotkin doesn't look like he's close enough as meantime now Matsushita down the inside of Ghiotto. He takes 7th. Will he try and get Nato at the same time? No, Nato covers him off into the hairpin to keep hold of 6th place as Câmara is making his way up through the field. He's up to 10th place. So Sette Câmara from 15th on the grid is up into 10th place. Brilliant stuff from the new employed Academy driver for the remainder of the season after ditching Mick Schumacher for poor performances. As now kind of coming around these section of corners. Gasly still leading the race, but Russell getting closer now to the backside of him. Sirotkin still giving Rosenqvist a hard time. Rosenqvist losing time to the top two at this stage of the race now. Then as I go around the chicane, as a bit of a lock up there from Russell shows how much he's pushing hard, but that might cost him a little bit of time compared to Gasly at this stage of the race as they come down towards the last chicane on the track. As meantime, Sirotkin, I don't know if he's starting to lose time now to the Swede at this stage, but still trying to keep up with him at this stage now that they come out of the final corner. Gasly now sets the fastest lap at 1 minute 18.175, so the man who's leading the race currently holding on to the fastest lap at the moment. Sirotkin does look like he's starting to drop back now from Rosenqvist. Maybe if he could try and keep out of his slipstream down the straight, we'll have to wait and see as they the pair of them come out of turn 3 now and heading down the back straight towards the hairpin of turn 4. And yeah, it looks like Sirotkin's not close enough, and it looks like Rosenqvist is now starting to get away a little bit. Nato's starting to close him in now, it seems. As meantime, Ghiotto going a bit defensive because Yuichi is putting pressure on him. Same with Sette Câmara as Lynn tries to get back on him if he can as they go out of the hairpin now then. And as you can see, everybody kind of grouped together. The Willows Grand Prix cars still struggling down where they are at the moment in 18th and 19th, I believe. Through towards the left and then through the right we go. As meantime, Sirotkin, I don't know if he's actually starting to catch back up now to Rosenqvist on this lap, but he looks like Nato's getting closer now to this fight for third. So Nato's starting to finally find his feet, probably because of the fact that this is his home race as well, along with Gasly. So probably getting the home advantage around here at Magny-Cours. Whether it's that or not, we'll wait and see. But as we just swoop around the right-hander, Sirotkin again doesn't look close to the back of Rosenqvist. Nato getting closer to that battle, and so far Nato in front of Norris at this stage, and Nato is having a better race than what Lando Norris is at the moment. As they come around the final chicane now, then Ghiotto holding on to the points places at this stage after Matsushita passed him a couple of laps ago. As we're now on lap 4 of 43 here at Magny-Cours, and I'll be very interested to see when the mandatory pit stops come into an effect. So looking at Gasly's cockpit then, I'd say the mandatory pit stops will probably come around about lap 21 to 28, so that's when we'll probably see them come about. So just look forward to that then. Into the mandatory pit stops as coming out of the hairpin goes Russell. Again, Sirotkin not getting close to the back of Rosenqvist, but still keeping him honest at this stage. Seems that everybody in the top 4 just seems to separate themselves out just a little bit. So meantime, Sette Câmara trying to chase down Yuichi. So far he finds himself in a Macamo sandwich with Lynn right behind him as well. And it'll be very interesting to see how Câmara does in his first race back in GP2. For the last time we saw him was back at the first race of Season 3 with the AMI Incorporated team, which was Bruno de Barros' team before they pulled out after just one weekend due to a fallout. But anyway, as I go around the hairpin, as you can see, it looked like Câmara just broke that a little bit later than what Yuichi did, and he's starting to get right onto the prowl of him now, then trying to ensure he tries to get Ecademy double points. Gasly continuing to have a decent lead out in front of championship leader George Russell at this stage of the race as they go around turns 1, 2 and 3 on the track. And the gap between the top 2 as they come out of turn 3 is 1.6 seconds. So that's how that currently stands at this stage. As meantime, Sette Câmara now trying to get up close to the back of Santiago Yuichi if he can as they come out of turn 3. Heading down the back straight now then towards the hairpin. Will Câmara try and get a move done on Santiago Yuichi? There's battles all the way behind him as well. Looks like one of the GRMs starting to attack. I think Mitch Evans, that is. Sette Câmara not close enough that time around. And as you can see, it's Yuri Vips having to find a way through on Nyck de Vries, but de Vries having none of it. Yura trying to find his way through as well. There's a whole train of cars down at that back end of the field at this stage. As now we look at Pierre Gasly, still leading the race comfortably. 1.6 seconds with the gap last time around between himself and George Russell as they come through the chicane now then around towards the final 4 corners on the track. And Gasly using a lot of curb on the outside before approaching the last chicane. As Sirotkin trying everything he can to reel in onto Rosenqvist in front, but so far just doesn't seem to be happening so far for the Russian. Rosenqvist just able to edge him off a bit, but still not able to have the pace but for the top 2. Will Rosenqvist at this stage as Russell and Gasly continue to get away from the rest of the field. As they just go sprinting around turn 1 now then on the track. Meantime, Yuichi still trying to close back in onto Ghiotto for that final points place as they just negotiate around the section of corners at this stage, I would think. I need to check it out, because coming into this race, the gap for second, the battle for second in the team's championship was looking quite intense. The gap between East Midlands Racing and Macamo was down to 1 point last time around at Silverstone, so I'll be interested to see. I'm trying to figure out what the points would be like at this stage. Currently, Sirotkin's holding on to 5 points, Ghiotto on to 1, and he's holding on to 4. So at this rate, Lightbase Sony Racing will up the gap by 2 points at this stage, because if you do 4 plus 3 equals 7, 5 plus 1 equals 6, of course. That's how much East Midlands Racing would get. That's why Sirotkin's trying to get up close to the back of Rosenqvist if he can, to try and make it level between Lightbase and East Midlands in the team's championship. But we'll have to wait and see on that. So far, nothing really going on in the top 2. In fact, even the top 4, I should say, as people finding it quite tricky at the moment to find to try and pull an overtake at this stage of the race. People just following each other at this stage. Câmara, meantime, looking like he's trying to get a little bit more leery up to the backside of Santiago de Ischia. And as you can see there, went a little bit more inside into that corner there than what Santiago de Ischia did. As they just come up now towards turn 1 on the track. And will Câmara try and find a way through on him at this stage? It doesn't look like he's close enough unless he gets a very good round of corners. Does well around these section of corners, as we've got a little bit of cloud cover now, it appears, on the track. We aren't expecting rain, of course. I think that's just cloud cover for the moment, just blocking the sun at this stage of the Grand Prix. Quite realistic the weather is, considering how old this game is, of course. It was released in 2000, Grand Prix 3 was, but so it is, of course, now... how old is it now? It's now 18 years old, this game is, so quite old, it must be said. But had very good wet weather features on this game, it must be said. And so that was that, really. Is now to come around the left-hander on the track. And Câmara is still stuck behind Ischia at this stage of the race. And meantime, now then, here is Pierre Gasly. He will now come up towards the final chicane. Looks like the sun's trying to peek out of the clouds at this stage of the race. But what is the gap between the top 2 at this stage in the feature race as they come out of the final corner? Let's see as they come down the pit straight. And the gap between Russell and Gasly now then as they go flying around turn 1. The gap is now, let's have a look, through turns 2 and around turn 3 we will go. The gap is 2 seconds. So Gasly continuing to up the gap between himself and George Russell at this stage of the race as they just come down the back straight. Sirotkin continuing to lose time behind Felix Rosenqvist. Rosenqvist just opening it up a little bit as he tries to hunt down his teammate and championship leader, the man he's trying to challenge for the championship, George Russell, as they just exit out of the hairpin now then. As Câmara again, Sette Câmara not close enough to the backside of Ischia in the Ecademy car, as he just come out of the hairpin, heading down the hill towards the chicane. And you'd have to question whether a lot of them are probably thinking about pit stop strategies at this stage of the race, as Vips looks like he's already lost his... sorry, I don't know what I'm saying there, but it looks like Stroll still struggling to find a way through on Evans. Clearly, the GP2 guys finding it hard to overtake around here in Magny-Cours. And they have to be quite lucky and get the right sort of slipstream if they want to pass potentially at probably the best overtaking opportunity they're going to get around the track, which is down at the hairpin of turn 4. So, but so far that we haven't seen any signs of that so far in this feature race. So Sirotkin rounds the final corner. And what's the gap between the top 2 this time around? It was 2 seconds between Russell and Gasly last time around. And what's the gap now? 2.1 seconds is the gap. We're on lap 9 of 43 now here at lap 9 of 43 here at Magny-Cours. 35 laps remaining in this feature race. So now coming up towards the hairpin will go George Russell, as he tries everything within his power to try and get hold of Gasly in front of him at this stage. As meantime is Matsushita still pulling a gap now on Ghiotto. Ischia losing more time to Luca Ghiotto, who's only on to 8th place, and Sette Câmara still stuck behind Ischia at this stage, clearly struggling to find a way through in this race now. Then if they come down towards the chicane on the track now, then they flick through the right and left-hander now then before approaching the next left-hander on the track, as Sette Câmara flicks it through that left-hander. and try and see if he can try anything to get hold of Santiago Urrutia at this stage before, as they now approach the second chicane on the track. Down the hill we go then, round the right and left hand, there we go, up towards the next right-hander on the track. And Sette Câmara now then still trying to pressure Santiago Urrutia into some form of mistake here at Magny-Cours, in towards the final chicane, then through the right, left, and then into the final corner now then. And Câmara doing whatever he can to pressure Urrutia into a mistake. As we ride on board with Sérgio Sette Câmara, gives you a bit of an idea of how the gaps currently look, how close he is to Urrutia as they come out of turn 3. Can he possibly try and get a run on him down this back straight? Is he got enough straight perhaps to try and get him this time around? Down the back straight we go now then into the hairpin, and I don't think again Sette Câmara is close enough to pull a pass on Santiago Urrutia. Probably a little bit frustrated and might have to wait for the mandatory pit stops to come into an effect during this race. And meantime now then, Gasly currently leading the way at this stage. We'll soon be starting lap 11 of 43 here at Magny-Cours, so would have 33 laps remaining if that were the case. When that becomes the case, I should say. Meantime now then, let's see what the leaderboard currently looks like at this stage. No retirements so far in this feature race. Gasly leads, Russell in second, Rosenqvist in third, Sirotkin fourth, Nato in fifth, Norris in sixth, Masashita 7th, Ghiotto 8th, Urrutia 9th, Sette Câmara 10th, Lynn 11th, Mitch Evans in 12th, Stroll 13th, Vries closely behind in 14th, also close behind is Vips in 15th, Euro in 16th, Goliath 17th, Razia 18th, Eriksson 19th, Palmer 20th, Fenestras 21st, and Tickton bringing up the rear in 22nd position. So 2.3 seconds the gap between the top two at this stage of the race. Gasly continuing to lead the way out in front, and his last win of course came at Donington as he looks to try and get a second victory of the season. Gasly now then just going around the hairpin, and he'd love to do it in front of his home fans here at Magny-Cours to give the French fans something to cheer about. As now Gasly will approach the right-left chicane on the track. The man who will be moving to the top class next season with Shadow Mercedes to partner alongside Carlos Sainz Jr. So looks like exciting times ahead for that team with Pierre Gasly joining. Charles Leclerc of course moving to Eldorado next season in the top class. So Gasly looking to try and put in pressure on in this GP2 championship. So far the championship looks to be so far out of reach for the Frenchman, but still the man at the front, the two Red Bull Academies, could slip up, so you never know really in these situations. So you'd have to wait and see really. As now around the final corner goes Pierre Gasly as he now starts lap number 12 of 43 now then here at Magny-Cours. 32 laps remaining, and we've got a few laps left perhaps. Probably around about 9 laps before the mandatory pit stops come into an effect in this race. Meantime, look how close now Sette Câmara is to the back of Santiago Urrutia, so he's finally been able to get up closer than what he has done previously onto the Uruguay driver as they now come around turn 1. But will he have enough momentum perhaps to try and get him onto the back straight? Round turn 3 goes the young Brazilian now then as he tries to get on terms with Santiago Urrutia. Down the back straight we go now then in towards the hairpin. Will Sette Câmara get the move done on Urrutia? He's tucked up. Will he try and get him into the hairpin? He's going to tuck up into his slipstream now. He's going to look to the inside. Will Sette Câmara finally get the move done into the hairpin? And yes, he can. Up into 9th place goes Sérgio Sette Câmara, finally getting the move done on Santiago Urrutia. And up into 9th place goes the returning Sérgio Sette Câmara. Next target for him is 8th place Luca Ghiotto. Let's see if he's got the pace to try and keep up with him in this race. And so far Sérgio Sette Câmara absolutely flying, it seems, from 15th on the grid. He's now up to 9th and getting close to the points places in this race now then. And Oliver Glaze were probably impressed with his driving so far, and he's already starting to get away from Santiago and starting to close in now onto Luca Ghiotto's 8th place. And you can definitely tell how much pace Câmara has got in that Academy car, as his teammate Pierre Gasly currently leads this race here at Magny-Cours and continuing to lead the way at this stage. So we've got cloud cover here at Magny-Cours, but as you saw on the weather forecast, we aren't expecting rain, so it could just remain like this for the remainder of the race. We'll have to wait and see as Gasly comes down the back straight now then and in towards the hairpin. Gasly continuing to put in a good race here at Magny-Cours and looking to put an impression for the fans if he can, as they go down the back straight now. Then Câmara trying to get up close to Ghiotto. You can see some points are up for grabs right in front of him at this stage of the race as they go down towards the hairpin. Sette Câmara getting closer now. As you can see, Urisha is starting to fall into the clutches of his teammate Alex Lynn, so he could even lose 10th place to his own teammate at this stage. As down the hill we go now, then in towards the chicane. We'll go Sérgio Sette Câmara around the right and left hander we go. And so far, doing a good job around here in Magny-Cours on his return to IFMC GP2. And they just feed the car around the section of corners. And now up towards the chicane we will go. And so down towards the second chicane before approaching the last 4 corners on the track. And Ghiotto probably being told at this point that Sette Câmara is running quicker than him behind and he's starting to close up. So that's at this stage. The gap between the top two is on lap 14 of the race. Let's see the gap, 2.2 seconds. So Russell has gained a 10th on him, but not really much. The gap's still sustainable. Still a very big, very consistent gap between Gasly and Russell at this stage. Gasly still having a decent lead in front of George Russell in this feature race as Gasly heads down the hill. Rosenqvist just hasn't got the pace of the top two despite his good qualifying session yesterday, and we didn't see what the gap was like for what could be the battle for 8th soon between Ghiotto and Sette Câmara as they head up towards the hairpin now then, and the young Brazilian going down the hill now then in towards the chicane. And so up towards the first chicane then will go Sérgio Sette Câmara as he flicks the car through the right and left-hander now then, getting close to the edge of the track. Up towards the left-hander we go. And now out the corner, heading up down towards the second chicane. And I'll promise you that this lap we'll try and look and see what the gap is like between these two next time by. Through the right and left-hander we go. And Sérgio Sette Câmara really pushing hard now. No mistakes being made so far by the young Brazilian as they enter towards the last chicane. We'll have a look now in the cockpit of Sette Câmara. Let's see what the gap is going to be like then between Ghiotto and Sette Câmara now then as they head down the pit straight. And let's see now then as we are on lap 15 of 43, so 39 laps remaining in this feature race. Through turn 3 we go. 1.1 seconds is the gap between Ghiotto and Sette Câmara. That time around, Nato leaving his teammate Norris for dust at this stage. So he tries to close in onto Sergey Sirotkin for P4 in this feature race. Down the hill we go then. The French fans hoping that he could try and get it onto the podium to see 2 French drivers on the podium here in Magny-Cours as he now go through the right and left chicane. Up towards the left-hander we go on the track. And the Lightbase Sony racing car doing a stunning job at this stage as he tries to catch up to Sirotkin in this feature race. Down towards the second chicane we go on the track then. Round the right and left-hander before approaching the hairpin on the track. Round the right-hander we go. And a little bit of understeer there it seems from Nato as it looked like he used quite a lot of curb on the outside. It looked like he went a little bit too fast there out of the corner. Probably just a little bit eager to get on the powers. Out goes Santiago Urisha. What's happened to the Macamo driver? Urisha is out. What has happened to him now then? And there he is. It is a transmission problem for Santiago Urisha. So as a result, Urisha is out of the feature race and we're down to 21 runners as a result here. So Santiago Urisha calling it a day thanks to transmission problems. Confirmation that he is out of the race. So we're now down to 21 runners. The first retirement of the day here at the Circuit de Nevers Magny-Cours. And so that's that for him really as they come out of turn 3 for Norman Nato as he tries to close in onto Sergey Sirotkin at the moment. And just want to have a look. Meantime, we've got a big battle for 11th brewing now as Evans is trying to fend off from the GRM juniors of De Vries and Stroll. Unseen by the cameras, De Vries actually passed Stroll somewhere, and Vip's getting close to that battle, heading down the back straight. De Vries looking to the inside of Evans. Evans shuts the door through that first part. Will De Vries try and get him into the hairpin perhaps? And he's not close enough, so he's going to remain single file behind him into the hairpin. And I do apologise there for that little technical hitch. Harvey Central deciding to have a little bit of a hissy fit there, it must be said. So they now head down towards the the chicane, the first chicane on the track, and it looks like it is starting to brighten up a little bit again around the track. It was quite bright into that first chicane there, so the sun looks like it's starting to peek out the clouds again from that cloud cover. So that's that. And around a few laps time, we should be seeing the mandatory pit stops coming to an effect here at Magny-Cours. So now through turn 1 goes Pierre Gasly as he continues to have a decent lead in front of George Russell. The gap 2 seconds between them now then. So Russell is gaining a little bit, but still 2 seconds is the gap. He's not really been gaining too much onto him at this stage, as now the sun has finally peeked out of the clouds, and the cloud cover is now officially gone from the track. What's the gap between Ghiotto and Sette Câmara in this race as they go around turn 3? The gap, let's have a look, 1.2 seconds. Of Ghiotto has actually upped the pace between himself and Sérgio Sette Câmara, so he's finally responded in terms of pace from the last time we checked, of course. And Sette Câmara is still not within the slipstream of the Italian. Maybe he'll have to wait for the mandatory pit stops to try and see if he can try and get the jump on him. Essentially, that place is the battle for trying to get pole position for the sprint race tomorrow here at Magny-Cours. So any result really would do the team justice. As now into the chicane we go, around the right and left-hander, as they now approach the next left-hander on the track. As meantime, here's Pierre Gasly still leading the race at this stage, as he's got 5.8 litres left in the tank. It looks like out of him and Russell, Russell's going to be the first to pit, so that could explain why Russell's starting to push a little bit. He's got a little bit less fuel than what Gasly is at this stage, so he seems to have reached it to where he wants to pit, of course, and he's running a little bit lighter, so he's able to run a little bit quicker. The gap between the top two now then, as I go through turn 3, the gap is now, let's have a look, 2.3 seconds. So in fact, Gasly's actually responded and is up the pace by 0.3 of a second. So it's back up to 2.3 seconds between the top two in this feature race as they just head down the back straight now then. As the gap between Ghiotto and Sette Câmara, let's have a look. The gap is 1.3 seconds. So again, Ghiotto up in the pace again. It looks like the Vries is starting to fall back now behind Evans, and Stroll falling back into the clutches of Yuri Vips, so there seems to be a battle for 13th Britain. But I've been saying that now, in fact, De Vries has got a great run in him down the back straight. Will De Vries actually get 11 from him this time? He's going to look to the inside. Evans tried to shut the door, and he did so with ease, so Evans keeps hold of the place for now. Vips wasn't close enough to make a pass on Stroll down into the hairpin there, so Stroll keeps hold of 13th for the moment in this race as they head down the hill towards the first chicane on the track. And so that's that for them really, as they just go around the right and left-hander now then. So that's that really as far as they are concerned. Out of the final corner then comes Pierre Gasly, as he now starts lap 19 of the race, and around about a couple of laps we should see or maybe around about, in fact it's this lap in fact, because Russell is pitting at the end of this lap for his mandatory pit stop. So at the end of lap 19, George Russell is pitting, and the gap between him and Gasly is back down to 2.1 seconds. So Russell cuts the gap by 0.2 of a second between himself and Gasly, as he looks to try and get closer to him after this mandatory pit stop and try and challenge him for the win here at Magny-Cours. As they head into turn 4 on the track, we'll be seeing Russell dive into the pits this lap. As meantime, Câmara 1.2 seconds, so he's cut a little bit by 1/10, but still not within slipstream range of the Italian, so maybe has to wait for the mandatory pit stops. And I think looking at it, both of them are pitting on the same lap as each other, because they've both got similar fuel loads in the back of their tanks. So it looks like it's going to be a battle of the East Midlands and Ecademy mechanics in this race for the pit stops, as now they head into the chicane now then. So that's that for them really, as we look back now then at George Russell. We'll be seeing him go into the pits this lap, as he will now approach the final chicane. Into the right, then into the left we go, as he peels to the left. So into the pits then comes George Russell from second place, and let's see how quick the stop's going to be then for Russell, as he goes trundling down pit lane, as it looks like the Lightbase Sony racing mechanics are also getting ready for one of their cars to come in. So it's either Nato or Norris they've brought into the pits. So now Russell's being fueled to the end of the race. Let's see where he's going to rejoin then after the pit stop. And it is an 11.2 second stop from him, and it's Norman Nato who's in for Lightbase Sony Racing. So Norris has chosen to stay out. Russell, meantime, rejoins in 10th position, just in front of Norris, just in front of De Vries, and that's a welcome of relief for Mitch Evans, because now he's got a car between himself and Nyck De Vries. De Vries now starting to lose time to him as a result, and now Stroll and Vips get close to him. It said Joel Eriksson has just come into the pits for his mandatory pit stop, so the Lopez racing mechanics getting ready for him. Russell goes defensive in case De Vries tries to go for a move on him into the hairpin, which he doesn't, so Russell keeps all of the place for the time being. So that's that for him really. Eriksson now then finishes his pit stop, and where is Joel going to rejoin? He's going to rejoin in 20th. As Lucas Jolyon is yet to come around that final corner. In fact, Jolyon's lost a lot of time to the rest of the pack. I wonder if he's made a mistake somewhere, because Jolyon now way down the field in 21st. So once by the cameras, it seems that Jolyon has made a mistake on the racetrack, probably down at turn 3. In fact, I did see quite a lot of tyre smoke, in fact, down at the hairpin. So I wonder if that had anything to do with Jolyon. If that were the case. So that's that really, and to put it into perspective, he's now nearly a lap down because Gasly's starting to close up. But anyway, Gasly is in fact pitting at the end of this lap for his mandatory pit stop, so he's pitting. He'll hand the lead temporarily to Felix Rosenqvist. He's staying out for about another 2 laps or so. And meantime, as no behind Matsushita pits for Holy Trinity Racing, Sergey Sirotkin will also be joining Gasly into the pits as Matsushita is in for his scheduled stop. Where's this going to put him out after he finishes off his pit stop now then? As Ghiotto has also been into the pits, so Ghiotto finishes his stop for East Midlands Racing. So Sérgio Sette Câmara will try and push to see if he can try and leapfrog him. In fact, he's made his pit stop, in fact, but Câmara staying out, staying behind him on the track, so no changes there. And I forgot they were actually on the same fuel load. So Matsushita rejoins 16th, Ghiotto 17th, Câmara 18th. Ticked him into the pits for his scheduled stop, but we're now going to be soon seeing the race leader dive into the pits for his mandatory pit stop. As he now approaches the last chicane, through the right and left hand he will go, and there you go then, into the pits comes Pierre Gasly from the lead of the race, and he'll soon be joined by Sergey Sirotkin very soon, as he'll be pitting at the end of this lap. East Midlands mechanics will be getting ready to serve him very soon then, as Gasly pulls into his box. Let's see how quick the stop is going to be then for the Frenchman. And of course, let's see where he's going to rejoin then, as he puts on a fresh set of tyres and fuel. And it is a 10.8 second stop. Rosenqvist has stayed out for a while. Where is Russell on the track? Russell's coming up towards the final chicane. Gasly will still be out in front of him, but what will be the gap between Gasly and Russell when Gasly comes out of the pits? Let's see if we get an indication. Gasly comes out on track, and the gap looks roughly the same as what it did before the pit stop. So not really much gain there, it must be said. As that's that really as far as he's concerned. But meantime, as you can see, De Vries now still right on the prowl of Mitch Evans. Sirotkin, as he finished his pit stop, he rejoins in 11th, just in front of Sasha Fennestras's Lopez Racing Development car. As meantime now De Vries looks to the inside of Mitch Evans. Would he get the move done this time on the Kiwi into the hairpin? Down the inside he goes. Evans still trying to stick with him as they go side by side down the hill. Go De Vries and Evans, but Evans just has enough traction and stays in front of De Vries at this stage. And so De Vries probably getting frustrated. He's stuck behind Evans. And now Stroll getting close to that battle himself. So that's going to get quite interesting. Lucas Jolyon is in for his scheduled stop. So the VorteX man is in. So they just negotiate round these section of corners now then before approaching the chicane. And so into the chicane now then we will go. Stroll doing whatever he can to get hold of Evans for P5 in this race as they go around the right-hander now then before approaching the last chicane, as Jolyon makes his pit stop, but he's now a lap down. So the top two, in fact, the provisional top two, the temporary top two, Rosenqvist and Norris are going to be making a pit stop this lap, so it will hand the lead back to Pierre Gasly as a result. So now we look at Felix Rosenqvist, who just comes out of the hairpin using quite a lot of company outside. As Lance Stroll is in for GRM Junior in hopes of trying to leapfrog both De Vries and Evans, so he's making his pit stop as we speak. But meantime, as De Vries and Evans will be pitting this lap as well, so it'll be quite manic in the pits next time around. But can De Vries get Evans this time? He's going to look to the inside again, into the hairpin. Will De Vries get him this time? Surely he's got him now, and he has, up into what will be P number 10, I think, of the race for Nyck De Vries once everybody makes their pit stops, as Sirotkin tries to find a way through on Norman Nato there. In fact, Nato actually got the jump on him into the pit, so Nato gaining a place on Sirotkin into the pit. Sirotkin tried to have a go, but there's a little bit of argy-bargy, and Nato stays in front. As a result, lots of tyre smoke coming from them as a result. Vips now looking to the inside of Stroll. Stroll stayed in front of him after the pit stop, but Vips unable to find a way through. That time around, as into the pits comes Felix Rosenqvist, and also coming in is Lando Norris. So let's see where Rosenqvist is going to be joining after this pit stop. He'll hand the lead back to Pierre Gasly And that's that really, as the Red Bull Academy mechanics put on a fresh set of tyres and fuel onto the car. Through goes Gasly to retake the lead, and it's a 10-second stop exactly for Rosenqvist as Russell retakes second place in this race. He's 2.7 seconds back from Gasly. Rosenqvist again rejoining in third place as Vries is into the pits. Norris looked like he got a little bit held up in the pit lane as Nato and Sirotkin go by, and it looks like Masashita will as well. So as a result of that hold up, Norris has lost a lot of time and just rejoining right in front of Luca Ghiotto. There goes Lando Norris, and that could help out Sérgio Sette Câmara as well, as now we've got a little bit of a freeway scrap going on for P7. Nyck de Vries into the pits as he looks to try and beat Mitch Evans in the pit lane. Did he do so? As Stroll has actually leapfrogged Evans and de Vries, so de Vries has lost a lot of time. He rejoins 15th, Evans rejoins right in front of Vips. Stroll able to get away. As a result, we were looking at these three, weren't we, of Norris, Ghiotto and Sette Câmara, but none of them seem to make any places. As a result, Jolyon Palmer into the pits for Willows Grand Prix, as now we approach the chicane through the right and left-hander now then. And now into the next left-hander on the track we go, and Sette Câmara looking to try and gain some places if he can. Meantime, Sirotkin back up to 4th, on scene by the camera. Sirotkin's back up to 4th. He passes Nato, so up into 4th place yet again goes Sergey Sirotkin, and he's regained his 4th place after he lost it to Nato. The gap between Russell and Gasly is now up to 3.1 seconds, so Gasly is absolutely flying now. Russell just hasn't got a response to his pace, and Gasly now starting to get away firmly in front, as now in towards the flat-out turn 1 now. Then we'll go Norman Nato as he tries to hunt back down on Sergey Sirotkin through turn 3. 1.1 seconds is the gap. As meantime, Sérgio Sette Câmara trying to get up close to Luca Ghiotto for the final points place as they come out of turn 3, heading down the back straight now then. And Sérgio Sette Câmara not close enough to get Ghiotto this time around, but he's stuck within his slipstream, but not close enough to pull an overtake on the Italian at this stage of the race now then, as he just negotiate through the hairpin now then. Lynn is now actually close to this fight as well, so Lynn starting to get himself into the mix. Meantime, de Vries stuck behind Galar, but he's going to try and look to the inside into the hairpin. Will he pull this one off? And he does. Up to 14th goes Nyck de Vries. A very easy move there on Sean Galayo, but now de Vries will want to try and get Vips if he can for 13th place. He's trying to close up onto the backside of Mitch Evans on his return this weekend after being sat on the sidelines from RSPCA Racing as a result of causing a crash at Belgium with teammate Dan Ticktum. So that was that for him really. Going around the corners now, Felix Rosenqvist sets the fastest lap at 1:18.013, so now he's holding on to the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. As now through the chicane we will go into the final corner and onto the pit straight now then, and let's see the gap between Câmara and Ghiotto this time around, as we're on lap 26 of 43 here in the feature race. So we now have specifically 18 laps remaining here in Magny-Cours. 0.9 seconds is the gap between Ghiotto and Sette Câmara in this feature race. Rosenqvist set the fastest lap, but he's still got a long way to try and catch up to Gasly and Russell. A very big gap to try and claw if he can now then, as they just go around the left-hander, as pretty soon they'll be coming up to that piece of traffic again in the form of Lucas Jura. So that's that for him. And then in towards the hairpit, the 4th to last corner now then. Gasly continuing to lead the way as he looks to try and put an impression in front of the home fans here at Magny-Cours, and well, give the French fans something to cheer about in this feature race. Coming out the final corner then goes Pierre Gasly, as he now starts lap 27 of 43 now then here at Magny-Cours. So 17 laps remaining for Pierre Gasly. So he now rounds turn 3 on the track. So around turn 3 we go now then. A lot of curb being used on the outside, as he'll try and get close to the back of Lucas Jura to try and lap him. In meantime, Jolyon Palmer now then right on the backside of Dan Ticktum, as these two fight for a lonely 18th place, along with Sasha Fenestraz, who's quite close to that battle as well. So it's very clear the Willows Grand Prix guys and a lot of the guys as well, who are usually near towards the points anyway, appear to struggle around here at Magny-Cours. And it's clearly showing, it must be said. 1.1 seconds the gap between Ghiotto and Sette Câmara. So Ghiotto starting to get away again from Sérgio Sette Câmara in this race as they head down the back straight now then. As you can see, here is Pierre Gasly. He will now approach the chicane. flicking the car through the right and left-hander on the track as he continues to lead the way out in front at this stage. Matsushita, meantime, trying to close up onto Nato, but it seems that Norris is starting to close him up. At the moment, Matsushita finding himself in a light-based Sony Racing sandwich at this stage of the race. Ghiotto losing time to Norris in this race now then, as Norris looks to try and make up lost time after losing a lot of time in the pits, which lost him a place to Nobuharu Matsushita. And well, that was that really for Norris, as now they approach the last chicane on the track. Norris getting closer to the backside of Nobuharu Matsushita as they now approach the final corner, and onto the pit straight we will go. And now up towards turn 1 on the track we go. Now then, as Norris just flicks through the first corner, flat out we go through turn 2, and then around turn 3 on the track. Around the right-hander we go now then. A lot of curb being used on the outside before heading down the back straight now then towards the hairpin. And, well, again, Norris trying to get up to the backside of Nobuharu Matsushita and try and make up lost time in this race now then, as they go around the hairpin on the track, heading down the hill towards the chicane. But that's a fiery engine from Luca Ghiotto. He's got a fiery engine, which pretty much puts pay to a dreadful race for the young Austrian, as Russell is finding it difficult to find a way through. That could help out Felix Rosenqvist get up close to his teammate. But there you go then, Luca Ghiotto has a fiery engine and he is out of the race, and we're down to 20 runners as a result. So another mechanical problem in this race. Luca Ghiotto pretty much confirming what has been a dreadful weekend for the Austrian. First the qualifying ban, then the mistake, and now the fiery engine. And that's that really. Luca Ghiotto out of the race, and we're down to 20 runners in here at Magny-Cours for the feature race. As coming out of the final corner goes Lando Norris. What's the gap between him and Matsushita on lap 29 of 43? 15 laps to go here for the feature race as they go around turn 1 on the track. And the gap between Matsushita and Norris as they swoop their way around turn 3 is 0.8 seconds. So he's pulling the gap down to just under a second between himself and Nobuharu Matsushita as they head down the back straight now then towards the hairpin. But Norris not close enough again that time around. Probably next lap he'll probably try and have a go at Matsushita if he's able to keep up the pace and try and gain onto him. Maybe try and break that a little bit later than what the Japanese driver is doing at this stage now as they head down the hill towards the second chicane on the track. So around the right and left-hander we go, and then up towards the next left-hander we will go on the track as Norris flicks the car through the left-hander, and then around the right and then around the left-hander we will go as we will approach the next chicane on the track, the quick right-left chicane. So through the right and then the left-hander we will go before approaching the final 4 corners on the track. And now we head down towards the last chicane now then. Well, Norris try and have a go at Matsushita in this race now then. Round the right, then the left, and then up towards the final corner we go. Norris trying to break that a little bit later than what Matsushita is. The man as Russell's out! George Russell, the man in second place, the championship leader, is out of the race as Evans has gone off down the right-hander, and it looks like Russell's done the same thing and has clattered the side of Evans and has smacked it into the wall, and that is a parting gift for Felix Rosenqvist, as if it stays like this, Rosenqvist will lead the Drivers' Championship. Russell has bottled it down at turn 3. He looks like he's understeered off the track as Evans has already crashed out, and well, Evans getting a little bit of a helping hand, but Evans has lost the front wing, and I don't know now if he's beached it, but Russell out of the race, and we're down to 19 runners, and will Evans actually join him as well? It all depends if he's beached it into the gravel. So that's that really, and that could give Rosenqvist the lead in the Drivers' Championship, providing that he finishes the race as well. And now that puts Câmara into the point. So at this stage, Sette Câmara will be on pole for the sprint race tomorrow. So Ecademy might have a chance of 2 out of 2 victories this weekend here in Magny-Cours. But as Evans beached the car down at turn 3 now then, and well, this has now changed the championship a lot. It's turned the championship on its head, and well, Russell has now crashed it down at turn 3, and as a result, if it stays like this, Rosenqvist will lead the Drivers' Championship by the end of this race. Has Evans beached the car? He's trying to get it moving, but he's just struggling to get it going at this stage, and I wonder if it's going to be soon all over for Mitch Evans, and we could be down to 18 runners in just a little bit. As out goes Sasha Fenestraz. So Fenestraz out of the race. What's happened to him? He's down the straight. And what on earth happened to Sasha Fenestraz? And it's another transmission problem. Fenestraz out with transmission problems. And, well, now we're down to 18 runners. Sasha Fenestraz, he's out of the race. They're now dropping like flies. Fenestraz out. And we're down to 18 runners. But could he be 17 as Evans is still trying to get the car going? And, well, it could be race over soon for Mitch Evans. And, well, that will be that really for the Kiwi as he tries to get it going. But he's just struggling to do so. And there you go, there are the marshals. There you go, Mitch Evans is out of the race and we're down to 17 runners. And, well, that's the end of the race then for Mitch. As race over for him as far as he's concerned. Now, meantime, back to this battle for what is now P5 as a result of Russell's retirement. As they come down the back straight, Norris now trying to attack Masashita for P5. Can he try and get him into the hairpin? Masashita goes defensive, and rightfully so, keeping on the P5 for the moment in this race. And, well, that's that really. We now have 13 laps remaining for race leader Pierre Gasly. As now it finds Sirotkin onto the podium in the East Midlands racing car. As now into the chicane we will go now then. As Norris continues to be stuck behind Nobuharu Matsushita. As he now just rounds the left-hander now then on the track. Round the right and then through the left again. And now up to down towards the second chicane. We will go on the track now then. We're 14 minutes away from the 7 o'clock mark. So we are now just over 40 minutes away from race 1 of IFMC GP3 here at Magny-Cours. So that's that as they come down towards the final chicane on the track. And is Norris going to try and get him on the next lap now? Then Norris has been stuck behind him now for a few laps. And probably, if he's not careful, he's going to get possibly a bit frustrated being stuck behind him now. Then as they come down towards the first corner on the track now then. And let's see if he's able to get the move done now. Then as they come out of turn 3, down the back straight we go. Will Norris get the move done on Nobuharu Matsushita? It's half a second between them, but it doesn't look like that Norris is close enough to make a move on Nobuharu Matsushita this time around, and has to stay single file behind him into the hairpin. At this stage, this is how the grid will look for the sprint race tomorrow. It'll be Sérgio Sette Câmara on pole with Luca Ghiotto in second, Lando Norris third, Nobuharu Matsushita 4th, and then it'll be Norman Nato 5th, Sergey Sirotkin in 6th, Felix Rosenqvist 7th, and Pierre Gasly in 8th place, as he now has a big lead as a result of Russell crashing out, and he'll soon cross the line to start lap 33 of 43 here at Magny-Cours. So 11 laps remaining for Pierre Gasly here at Magny-Cours as he goes flat through turn 1 now then, and Gasly doing a fine job at this stage now then, as it looked like he had a little bit of understeer going through turn 2. Luckily was able to correct it now then, as he's got a 7.5 second lead in front of Felix Rosenqvist, a very big gap. And well, I don't think Rosenqvist has the pace to even match him at this stage of the race. Meantime, back to this battle for 5th between Matsushita and Norris now then. Norris right up to the backside of him now then. Surely he's got to have a run on him down the back straight this time around. Out of turn 3 we will go now then. Will Norris get the move done on Nobuharu Matsushita as they head down the back straight towards the hairpin now then. He's trying to tuck up into Matsushita's slipstream, tucking up into the Japanese driver's slipstream. He looks to the inside. Will Norris get the move done on Matsushita trying to shut the door, and he does so. Matsushita keeping on the 5th place for the moment, defending, being very aggressive with his defending, but fair, and holding on to 5th place for the moment in this race now then, as they head down towards the first chicane before approaching the next left-hander. As you can see there, Matsushita still going a tad bit defensive into turn 7 there. So that's that really as far as he's concerned. So now up down towards the next chicane on the track. Norris threatening Matsushita every opportunity. Thought about maybe having a look into that second chicane, but didn't at the end. And just trying to see where Matsushita's weak points are on this track. Can he maybe try and get a run on him into the last chicane now then? Down towards the last chicane. Will Norris try and dive it down the inside to this corner? No, he doesn't think of it. And looks like one of the two of them just had a puff of smoke coming off the tyre. Don't know which one it was. It was either Matsushita or Norris that had a little lock up into that last chicane there. As now down towards the first corner on the track then. Will Norris try and get Matsushita this time around now then through turn 2 and around turn 3 we go. Will Norris get the move done on Nobuharu Matsushita? A lot of curve being used on the outside as they head down the back straight. Norris in the slipstream of Matsushita now then, and has a glimpse down the inside into that bit, but can he get the run in him down in towards the hairpin this time around now then? And not close enough. He remains behind him at this stage. And looks like there Matsushita might have taken a little bit of a wide line. I don't know if I saw a little bit of a lock up there from Matsushita, but Norris wasn't able to capitalise as a result and still remains stuck behind the Japanese driver in this race. All the time he's losing, he's going to lose more time to teammate Norman Nato to try and grab P4 from him in this race now then. As now coming around the left-hander we go before approaching the next chicane on the track. Round the right and left-hander we go. And Matsushita just trying everything he can to hold the nerves and the pressure from Lando Norris in this race. Coming out of the right-hander. Will Norris probably try and get a run in him into the chicane? He's going to look to the inside. It'll be a good move if he pulls this one off, but no. Matsushita shuts the door and Norris has lost all the momentum in the world and has to do all that hard work again, as Matsushita now has a bit of a gap between himself and Norris as a result of Norris trying to dive it down the inside into the last chicane. Probably desperation creeping into Norris's mind there, as now through towards turn 3 we go on the track now then. The third corner, heading down the back straight now then. Will Norris try and get the move done this time on Nobuharu Matsushita as they head down towards the hairpin, and he's not close enough that time around to get him. As they now negotiate around these section of corners. Here is Pierre Gasly. He'll soon be starting lap 36 of 43, so he'll have 8 laps to go when he crosses the line, as he just exits out of the fourth to last corner before approaching the last chicane on the track before heading down the pit straight. Into the hairpin he goes. So he now starts lap 36 of 43 now then here at Magny-Cours, as we're 8 minutes away now then from the 7 o'clock mark. So just under 40 minutes away from the first race of IFMC GP3 this weekend here at Magny-Cours. Sirotkin looking good in third place at the moment. Now it's Nice doing whatever he can to try and gain back the time he lost after trying to dive it down the inside into Matsushita into that chicane, and that will not help. It shows how much noise he's pushing as he's now locked up into the final chicane. I saw he understeered going into that second part there, and it's obviously led to the lockup into that final corner, and just shows how much he's pushing hard. But again, that will lose him some more time now to try and close up onto Matsushita in these remaining 8 laps in this feature race now then, as they head down the back straight towards the hairpin. And Norris now then doing whatever he can to get hold of him in this race as they head down towards the hairpin. And now into the hairpin we will go then on the track. Out of the hairpin we go. A lot of curb being used on the outside before heading down the hill towards the right-left chicane. And so into the right-left chicane we will go on the track. And now we approach the next left-hander now. Then we will go on the track as Norris tries to gain all the time back on Nobuharu Matsushita, as now they head down towards the right-left chicane, as Norris, carrying the Valentino Rossi style helmet, tries to gain onto the back of Matsushita in front, as they will now approach the last chicane before trying to break that a little bit later. It seems that he's definitely better in this corner compared to Matsushita. It's very clear though that on the last lap he was just pushing that tad bit too hard and ended up locking up into that final corner. But let's see what the gap is like this time around between Nobuharu and Lando, as we only have 7 laps remaining in this race now. Then through turn 3 we go. The gap 0.6 seconds, so that's how that looks. Will Norris possibly try and get a run on him down this back straight this time around before heading down towards the hairpin? And let's see, and I don't think he's close enough to make the move this time around then, so Norris tucks back for now and possibly waits a little bit later on to try and get hold of him in this race as they head down the hill towards the first chicane now. Then through the right and left-hander we will go, and now in towards the left-hander we will go, and now through towards these next section of corners. Now then heading down towards the chicane. Nice, now right back in the toe of Matsushita. Down towards the second chicane. Through the right and left-hander we go. heading up towards the final 4 corners now then. Let's see if Norris has got the pace to try and get Matsushita this time around. Down towards the last chicane we go on the track. Norris not going to think about a move like he did last time. He's going to possibly try and wait for the back straight to pull a move on Nobuharu Matsushita as they head down the straight now then towards the first corner on the track. Round the flat out left-hander and then through turns 2 and 3 we go. And so through turn 3 now then. Out the corner, a lot of curb being used on the outside as they head down towards the straight now. Then as you can see, Norris right in the slipstream now then of Nobuharu Matsushita. He's going to look to the inside. Has Norris finally got the move done on Matsushita into the hairpin, down the inside, and he does at last. Up into 5th place goes Lando Norris. He gets the move done on Matsushita, and up into 5th place goes Lando Norris. Now, if he has enough time in these remaining 6 laps, his next target will be teammate Norman Nato for P4 here at Magny-Cours. So that's that really. Through the final corner goes Pierre Gasly as he will start lap 39 of 43. So we'll have 5 laps remaining in this feature race here at Magny-Cours. As going through turn 1 now then will go Pierre Gasly as he goes through 2 and 3 now then. Gasly doing a stunning job and so far looks to give the fans what they want, a home victory here at Magny-Cours as he heads down the back straight towards the hairpin on the track. And Gasly continuing to have a decent lead out in front of Felix Rosenqvist. Rosenqvist hasn't got the pace, but I don't think he cares at this stage because he knows with Rosenqvist's retirement, with his teammates' retirement, it now means that if it stays like this, he will lead the championship by, I think he's still holding on to the fastest lap of the race. So if that's the case, he will lead the championship by 8 points ahead of Russell, thanks to his retirement. It would be 7 had it not been for the fastest lap Rosenqvist is holding on to. If somebody else grabs the fastest lap, then the gap will be 7 points that Rosenqvist will lead by the end of this. So that's that really. As the Sirotkin now that just goes around the first chicane as he's looking strong for another podium here at Magny-Cours. So he seems to finally get his act together, but still looking for the victory this season, whereas his teammate has already got one in the sprint race at Donington a few weeks ago. As now around the right-left chicane goes Sergey Sirotkin before he approaches the hairpin. As he flicks the car round the right-hander. A lot of curb is being used on the outside there then. Here's Norman Nato. Looking good for 4th, but that all depends if Norris has got a lot more pace behind him to try and hunt him down. And we could have a fight for 4th between the 2 Lightbase Sony Racing teammates. Gasly, meantime, has now started lap 40 of 43. 4 laps remaining in this feature race. It's in towards the final corner. Goes Norris. Let's see what the gap is like between him and his teammate as they'll go flat out towards turn 1 on the track now. Then through turn 1, round the left-hander, through 2, and then around 3. We go, and out of the corner we go. It's 2.8 seconds the gap. That's quite a big gap, but still not impossible in his remaining 4 laps here at the feature racing Magny-Cours. Matsushita continues now to lose time to Lando Norris ever since Norris passed him a couple of laps ago. And now Norris into the hairpin he will go. As meantime, Sérgio Sette Câmara still not within pace of Luca Ghiotto, but at this stage it's looking good for him to take pole position for the sprint race tomorrow, with Ghiotto joining him on the front row. And meantime, Stroll is up to 10th place on Team by the cameras. He's passed his teammate De Vries, so up to 10th goes Stroll as he now tries to chase down Lynn for P9 in these remaining 4 laps if he's got the pace to do so, as he now rounds the left-hander on the track. And so far trying to do a good job if he can. Here's Gasly now then, 3 laps to go for him. 7.4 seconds now the gap between him and Felix Rosenqvist as he heads down the back straight, and all things looking good for him to take his 2nd victory of the season and really help himself out and the team and Ecademy out in both the drivers and teams championships respectively. And well, that'll be that really. Is heading down the hill now then goes Pierre Gasly as he will now approach the quick right-left chicane, as he will now go up towards the left-hander now. Then Gasly continuing to lead the way out in front at this stage. There's Lando Norris. He's getting closer. We didn't see what the gap was like this time around, but we'll try and have a look what it's like when they start the penultimate lap of the race. As into the hairpin now, then he goes as he tries to hunt down teammate Norman Nato here at Magny-Cours. And then we'll now head towards the quick right-left chicane on the track. And now up towards the left-hander we go. And now through the left-hander. And now using a lot of curb on the outside before approaching the left-hander. And now up towards the quick right-left chicane. And now around the section of corners we go. And now through the right-hander on the track now then. There's a lot of curb now then being used on the outside. Up towards the last chicane we will go. And so let's see now then what the gap is like as Gasly's now started the penultimate lap of this feature race. Lap 42 of 43 as we're now at the 7 o'clock mark. So half an hour away from the GP3 race coming your way in half an hour's time. Around the first corner now then flat we go, and let's see what the gap is like between the two Lightbase teammates now then. And the gap is 1.6 seconds, so will Norris have enough pace before the final lap to try and reel in Natto and grab 4 from his teammate? That will be the question. We'll have to wait and see on that. So meantime, Vries back on the prowl of Lance Stroll. Can he try and retake 10th from his Canadian teammates? It looks like Lynn is actually starting to close up to Sette Câmara. So the battle to try and take pole from the sprint race might not be over there. Vries had a go at Stroll down the back straight, but Stroll fended him off and keeps on the 10th place for the moment in this race. Meantime, here's Pierre Gasly coming around the final corner, and Gasly is about to start his final lap here in Magny-Cours. It's been a brilliant race for Pierre Gasly here at Magny-Cours. He started in second place, didn't initially get the jump on Rosenqvist, but was able to get him down the back straight into the hairpin, and well, from that point on he was just untouchable. Not even George Russell, before he crashed out, could even stop the Frenchman, and if he just keeps his head, he's looking good to take his second victory of the season and win in front of his home fans here in France. And the fans will definitely go wild if Pierre can just keep his nerves and cross the line to win this race. And Rosenqvist looking good to take the lead in the Drivers' Championship. And it doesn't look like Norris is going to be close enough to get Natto this time around. 1.4 seconds, he only reduced it to. So it looks like Natto has done enough to claim 4th place. As it looks like Sette Câmara has done enough to fend off from Lynn in this race. And so he looks like Sette Câmara is going to take pole for the sprint race tomorrow. Meantime, will Vries try and get Stroll this time around? He looks to the inside, but again, Stroll fends him off, and it looks like he's kept hold of 10th place now then. But meantime, here is Pierre Gasly coming around the final chicane. It's been a brilliant race from him. Up towards the final corner we go. And it is going to be Pierre Gasly who wins the feature race here at Magny-Cours. Congratulations to him and the Ecademy team. He takes his second victory of the season and he wins in front of his home fans. The French fans go wild. Felix Rosenqvist crosses the line second. He now leads the Drivers' Championship as a result of Russell's crash a few laps ago. Sergey Sirotkin is going to cross the line in 3rd place. Another podium for the Russian. Norman Natto is going to cross the line in 4th, finally getting some good luck in front of his home fans. Natto is going to cross the line in 4th position. Norris, close behind his teammate, will cross the line 5th. Matsushita adding to his points account this season, and Holy Trinities to finish in 6th position. Ghiotto crossing the line 7th, double points for EMR yet again. Sette Câmara gets his first points of the season in his first ever GP2 point, and he will take pole for the sprint race tomorrow. Lynn 9th, Stroll 10th, Vries close behind 11th, Vips 12th, Ghiotto crosses the line in 13th, Eriksson in the Lopez Racing Development car is going to cross the line in 14th position. And then he'll be followed by the 2 Willows Grand Prix cars, the 2 struggling Willows Grand Prix cars. 14th Eriksson, 15th Razia, 16th Palmer, Ticktum will be 17th, and there you have it then. In the end, Pierre Gasly is the winner of the feature race here at Magny-Cours, and it's his second victory of the season, and now that has definitely helped his championship out as well, and Ecademy's at the same time. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the results of the feature race here at Magny-Cours. Pierre Gasly won the race with Felix Rosenqvist in 2nd, Sergey Sirotkin finished in 3rd, with Norman Natto 4th, Lando Norris 5th, Nobuharu Matsushita 6th, Luca Ghiotto 7th, Sérgio Sette Câmara in 8th, Alex Lynn 9th, Lance Stroll 10th, Nyck Vries 11th, Yuri Vips 12th, Sean Goal 13th, Joel Eriksson 14th, and if we scroll down the rest of the field, it was Louis Razia 15th, Jolyon Palmer in 16th, Dan Ticktum, the last of the finishers, in 17th, and the 5 retirements were Sacha Fenestraz, George Russell, Mitch Evans, Lucas Jura, and Santiago Urishia. They were the retirements of the race. So let's see who set the fastest lap of this race who's going away with the bonus point, and it was Felix Rosenqvist with a 1 minute 18.013. So along with the 8 points he gets for second place, he also gets a bonus point for the fastest lap of the race, meaning that he now leads the championship by 8 points. He was 1/10 quicker in the end from eventual race winner Pierre Gasly. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it for the feature race for IFMC GP2. GP2 will be back tomorrow at 4 PM BST for their sprint race due to the Formula 1 race at Monaco. But stick around now, guys, because coming up next is race 1 of IFMC GP3, which sees Ferdinand Hasberg on pole position. And he is ahead of Alexander Rossi, and starting in third will be Sebastian Buemi. So if you want to go and grab a quick drink, then you can. The podium for GP2 is coming your way just after this. But until then, I've been Jaded with F1. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Enjoy the GP2 podium.